Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Dan?
It's going good. Steve, part of Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball is the baseball part. And now we're going to talk about Major League Baseball.
I'm a fan of it. I watch a lot of it.
Me too, my whole life. I do love baseball. I have the MLB app. I watch it consistently, always watching my team. So, what I wanted to start out with, let's go over the records as always, but let's start with the best team, not just in the American League this week, but the best team in the major leagues, the Detroit Tigers.
The Detroit Tigers, who I watched this past week because they played my favorite team, the Red Sox, and they were the first team to sweep the Red Sox all season, and they looked pretty good doing it.
Yeah, they are 31 and 16. They are the best record in the major leagues. They were 7 and 3 in their last 10 games. And the run differential, runs scored against runs against, they are plus 87. They are for real, Steve. I think they're the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, almost 2 runs a game, run differential, when you're like 30% through the season, that's amazing.
That's actually absolutely amazing. You watched them this weekend. What did you get? Was it pitching? Was it hitting? Was it just the overall team?
Well, it's also hard to not criticize the Red Sox on it because they've been milling around of getting their act together all year in different manners. But I'm just saying, like, they had it all, and they had a game where they just jumped out and jumped on them early. They had a game where they came from behind and broke the Red Sox hearts. There was some good pitching. Lineup was getting contributions all over the place. It just looked pretty good.
Yeah, the Detroit Tigers, I mean, Detroit's got to be loving it. And they do. They got an interesting team. Dingler and Nito at catcher. Torkelson, having a renaissance year again, coming back after last year. He kind of fell down to the minor leagues. And then their outfielders are coming through. Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, among them. And their pitching. Their pitching's been great, as you were talking about. Their run differential is great. In the AL Central behind Detroit is the Minnesota Twins 5 games back, the Cleveland Indians 5.5 games back, and the Kansas City Royals 5.5 games back, all above 500, playing well. So even though Detroit's hot 7-3 in their last 10, Minnesota's 9-1 in their last 10. What did their win streak get up to? Do you remember?
13 wins in a row until they lost.
Wow, they lost over the
Yeah.
weekend. They're 9-1 in their last 10. So even though Detroit's the cream of the crop right now in the major leagues, three teams right behind them, 5.5, 5.5, within striking distance. And Minnesota, boy, they started out badly because they won 13 games in a row and they're only 5 games over 500. But they're playing well. And then last in that division, of course, is the Chicago White Sox at 14 and 33, 4-6 in their last 10. So let's go to the AL East, Steve. That's where your team is. The Yankees are leading that division at 27 and 19. They were 7-3 in their last 10, and their run differential is plus 90, even better than Detroit at plus 87.
Yeah. And you know what? Just looking at this division, just a few weeks ago, I was like, haha, AL East, 4 out of the 5 teams are above 500. But
Right.
look at it now. Look at it
Yes.
now.
Wow. Wow.
Only the Yankees are above 500 in the
Wow.
AL East. That
Wow. What
that's
a
how good.
difference.
Yeah.
What a
So it's been
difference
a
a week
subpar
makes.
run for all of them,
Yeah,
you know?
Boston's 5 games back, Toronto's 5 games back, both under 500, and Tampa Bay 6 games back, all within striking distance with 30% of the season done. But New York playing like they should, 7-3 in their last 10. And to finish out the American League, the West, Seattle Mariners still on top, only 5-5 in the last 10. They have a 3-game winning streak right now. They are 2.5 games ahead of Houston and Texas.
Yeah, Texas has been playing better. They got off to a terrible start too, don't forget. Really bad start.
Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10. Houston 6-4. So they both caught up in the last 10. But the A's are kind of falling down where we thought the A's would be. They were playing so well at the beginning of the year in that bandbox of a stadium, and they were 2-8 in their last 10. They're now 5 games back, 22 and 25. So they're probably heading where they're going to head. And the Angels in last place, 6 games back in the AL West. So that division's still open between three teams for sure. Anyone can win it. Nice to see Seattle. You live in Seattle. Nice to see them playing well.
Yep, I still think it's all smoke and mirrors, but one thing I saw last year they used seven starting pitchers all season, and they've already used eight this year. So that's that's different than how last year went. Kirby still hasn't pitched this year. Gilbert missed some time being injured. Bryce Miller. So their vaunted rotation really even hasn't been there. And it's been some just streaky hot hitting and all world hitting from Jorge Polanco, who they signed back for cheap to play third base, and he's just all world this year. It's been peculiar. Enjoyable, but peculiar.
Right. Well, they have a good offensive team. They really do. I mean, they have maybe the best offensive catcher in the league in Cal Raleigh.
That's true. And he might be just been the best catcher in baseball, to be
Yeah,
quite frank.
I
That's
agree right
really
now.
like that's on the table right now.
And he's known
And
as a good defensive catcher, isn't he?
yeah, great defensive catcher. He frames it, throws out base runners. He's like the total package, and he's 28 years old, and they've got him under contract for 6 more years.
So the Mariners lost Robles to injury, and they picked up Tavares. I think he came from Texas. They were waiving him, and then they worked out a trade or something. And Tavares has been around the league, but he's playing, isn't he? Because they are kind of short in the outfield department.
Yeah, and he's definitely a competent outfielder, and you're just hoping that the change of scenery can catch lightning in a bottle for a few weeks, I think. But
Yeah.
he's had a couple of good moments. He has had some good at bats that were positive with some key hits. So, I mean, I don't, long term, you're not counting on that, but if he
No,
can
but
hold
he's
his own
had
for a
some.
month or so,
Absolutely. He's had chunks of a month or more, 2 or 3 in the major leagues where he has performed well. So I think it's a great fill in. It was a good get, to be honest with you, because he definitely can field. We're heading over to the National League. The best record in the National League, Steve. It's a tie between the Mets and the Dodgers.
I
Both.
cannot believe that the Dodgers just got swept by the Angels. That is crazy.
That is crazy. Absolutely. Across town rivals, the Dodgers 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. San Diego not able to capitalize because they're also 4-6 in their last 10, and they've lost their last 3 games in a row. They're 1 game
Uh,
behind. Yeah. And then the Giants also 1 game behind. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They have a 3 game winning streak. So just
so
three
they
games
made
in a
up
row.
three
Wow.
games. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And then Arizona above 500, 25-22. They're only 4 games back. This is a tight division.
I like all of those teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Giants probably have the less individual players that, I'm excited about is just watching play baseball, but I mean, they
Yeah.
they're doing good.
They're
I love it. I love
they're
that whole
playing
division.
great. And then of course we
Yeah.
gotta mention the last team in the division. The Colorado Rockies, who Steve, get ready, sit down. Don't stand up because you may fall. They're 8-38.
Oh, good
I mean,
night.
I,
A set. Look at that, a 17% winning percentage.
Uh,
Oh,
they're two and
oh
eight in their
no.
last 10. Their run differential is 144, negative 144. They've got 296 runs against and 152 runs scored. They're bad.
Wow. Yeah, no, yeah, you're getting outscored by like
Almost,
3.6 runs a game,
yeah. It is
3.7 maybe.
It's bad. It is really bad. So they're looking atrocious in the West. It's going to be a tough year for Colorado Rocky fans. We'll go to the NL East because the Mets are tied with the Dodgers for the best record in the National League. They're 6-4 in their last 10 at 29-18. They have a run differential of plus 56, more runs scored than they've given up. Behind them, the Phillies are half a game back, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. So they did make up a little ground in the last 10. Their run differential is only plus 24. They've given up more runs and not, well, the scoring is decent, but they've given up a lot more runs than they wanted to. But, a lot of that is Aaron Nola.
Yeah, he's had a few blow-ups for sure.
He's had a
He's had
few,
like three of them, I think. Three
yeah,
bad ones.
he's injured now. We'll talk about him later a little bit. The Phillies half game back. Atlanta Braves, 5 games back. They're 24-23. They're over 500, Steve.
As we've talked every week, after an 0-8 start. That's they're over 500 and they still got 70% of the season to go.
If they were 0-8, that makes them 24-15. That's great. They were 6-4 in their last 10, and their run differential is plus 11. And I think they had to work real hard to get that back. And then to finish out the division, the Nationals are 8.5 games back, and Miami are 10 games back. Both of them 4-6 in their last 10. The Nationals are on a 3-game winning streak right now. Now we go to the NL Central, the last division we haven't covered. The Cubbies still on top. 3-game winning streak, 6-4 in their last 10, a run differential of plus 70. They've scored 270 runs. That is
Wow.
second in the league behind the Dodgers, who have 272 runs scored. So they have given up 200 runs, so their pitching hasn't been fantastic, but their overall play has, and the 596 winning percentage, they are leading the Central. The Cardinals, 2 games back, they are 8-2 in their last 10. So their hot streak
Yeah.
continues. They're plus 38 in the run differential. And then Cincinnati, who's won 4 in a row to get back to 500. 4.5 games back. They're 24-24. They have a plus 30 run differential. And then to finish out the league, the Brewers below 500 at 22-25 are 6 games back. I mean, they're treading water if they don't keep falling back. They're 3-7 in their last 10, though. And the Pittsburgh
Yep.
Pirates, 15-32, 3-7 on the last 10. They've lost their last 3 games. They have a negative 62 run differential. They are struggling in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh, one of those ownership franchise groups that they're not like the Oakland A's, but they're the next worst, I think, because Tampa Bay actually at least has a system where they continue to develop players. They
Yeah,
continue to find, draft, sign, and develop players. I don't know how. They lose their president of operations of the Dodgers. They lose the next one to the Red Sox. Their longtime manager, that everyone thought was part of it, leaves. They just keep changing things over and they keep delivering the goods as a front office ownership group operating on the cheap. The
Tampa Bay.
Pirates, yeah, Tampa Bay. That's Tampa Bay. The Pirates just do not,
No,
and when they do it, they fuck it up, and they just trade people. And they've had great talent come through, from the Garrett Coles of the world, and they trade them away. Tyler Glass now,
yeah.
and and they trade them for prospects, and then they don't really reload. Like when Tampa Bay does that, they reload.
They reload, and Tampa
Pittsburgh
Bay
does
seems
that.
to have a great system of minor leaguers coming up always, it seems.
Yeah. So I
They're,
feel bad for the longtime Pittsburgh fans because their park looks so beautiful on television. It looks so good with the bridges in the background and the outfield. And it just looks like a great place to play baseball and watch baseball. I'm a
it's a,
fan of the team colors,
yeah,
the
it's
history of the
the
team.
history of the team. It's
Yeah,
a good baseball city.
yeah, they
But Steve,
deserve a little better
am I
ownership.
correct? The last time they won the World Series was 79?
Yep, I believe you are correct.
We
We
are
are family.
family. Yeah, Willie Stargell in the bunch. Dave Parker, Kent Tekulve was on that team, I believe. I mean, so the Pirates, long time, no championship, 15-32, 13 games back. Steve, who are the two managers? What are the two teams that fired managers? So it was Chicago, right?
Um,
The White
the
Sox.
Pi- the Pi- the Pirates, no, the Pirates and the Rockies,
Oh,
wasn't it?
Pirates and Rockies, not the White Sox. I'm just looking at the record and think they should. The Pirates 3-7 in the last 10, and the Rockies 2-8 in their last 10. So those managerial changes not really doing much as of yet. So that's the Major League Baseball record. Steve, I'd like to go over maybe a couple stats that stick out before we get off. I mean, we're like 7 games away from being a third of the year through. And it's always interesting. And one stat is, God jumps out at me when I was looking at stats earlier. Aaron Judge is batting 401 with 30% of the season. 401.
He is having an amazing year, like an all-timer. He had an all-timer just a couple of years ago, and now he's having another one.
He is just amazing. He's got 43 runs scored, 71 hits, 15 homers, 13 doubles, 41 ribbies, batting 401. So he's batting 401, and you got to mention Freddie Freeman because any other year you'd be like, oh, Freeman's batting 371. That's great. And it is great. But Judge is at 401. So those two just hitting the ball great. And we might as well mention the next two because they're also Yankees and Dodgers. Goldschmidt at 339 and Will Smith at 339, a little higher than I'm used to seeing Will Smith.
The Dodgers actually have they've got catching depth. They've called up a great catching prospect, and they got nowhere to put him because Will Smith is having such an amazing season.
He is. His home runs are a little behind usual, but he's batting 339. The highest he's ever really batted was 261, not counting 2020 because we shouldn't. So 261 was his high average before this season. So 339, he's having a monster season, his best of the year. So,
Well, y- yeah, and his slugging is over 500. It's 508. His on base percentage is 449.
oh my God.
449.
You're getting that from your catcher. You're just loving it. My God. And if you're talking fantasy, you love having a guy like that. And they just ran out the next, let's go to homers, actually. Well, Otani leads with 16, not a surprise. Judge with 15, not a surprise. Raleigh with 15, not really a surprise. And Schwarber with 15, not a surprise. Right?
Mm, Yeah, no, I can live with all that. I mean, Raleigh's a tiny bit of a
A little
surprise,
bit.
but
Yeah,
not
15 is a little
not
higher.
really true.
Yeah,
Not really. You're right.
Carroll's next with 14. That is a surprise from the Diamondbacks. And then they have Suarez also with 14 for the Diamondbacks, keeping them afloat in the NL West. They both have 14. That's the top five in home runs. Nice. I agree. I like the Diamondbacks. I like some of their players. It's actually good to see them, playing well. And they're in the toughest division in the majors.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the Dodgers are worse than the Yankees I mean, as an adversarial aspect
Yeah.
than the Yankees are worse because the Yankees were just constantly buying the best players for like, 30 years or so, maybe 35. Maybe 70 actually to be quite frank, but the Dodgers can do that, and they're developing them better than anybody else
Yeah.
except maybe Tampa Bay, except maybe them.
Hmm.
So it's when you have someone who's smart and great, and their staff they put together who are training people at the minor league levels and teaching them what it is to be a professional, to get the most out of the human body that you have and the skill set you have. I mean, the Dodgers are killing it at that,
Yeah.
and they have all the money to buy the best players.
To
It's a
buy the
deadly
best players.
combo.
They got a machine developing young players. They got the money to buy the free agents they want. It's a great thing for them. So, yeah, very interesting what's going on there. Didn't Arizona make the playoffs last year?
Well, yeah, and 2 years ago they went to the World
The
Series
World
as a
Series.
wild
So,
card.
so Arizona, they may be 5 games back right now, but they're in that race. Real quick before we go to some pitching stats, Steve, without looking, can you know who's leading the majors in strikeouts?
Um, no, I
National League
don't.
player. You'll never guess it.
I'm sure. I heard some crazy stat too about some guy who's a number one ranked pitcher, and I was blew my mind. I was like, I got to double check on that.
We'll go to that guy in a
Um,
second. Real quick, strikeout. The leader is Toglia from the Colorado Rockies. 65 strikeouts already. So he's on pace for 195 or more.
oh, the hitter.
Hitter. Oh, yes. Hitters.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
I
No,
heard.
yeah, no, yeah, that makes a totally difference in your mind. Absolutely. I was talking about hitters. Toglia leads with 65 strikeouts. De La Cruz, to be honest with you, is second with 60 strikeouts.
Hmm.
Kind of a surprise there
Yeah,
for me.
he
McMahon has
he did
59
have some
strikeouts.
contact issues.
Yeah, he does. He's only batting 248, De La Cruz. McMahon with 59 strikeouts and Trevor Story with 58 strikeouts. And then I'm just going to bring up these next couple because they're there. Reynolds from Pittsburgh, Riley from the Braves, and Wood from the Nationals. Wood's playing well from the Nationals, that's for sure. Riley's batting 287, so those strikeouts aren't bothering him. But Brian Reynolds, batting 203 for the Pirates in their lost season so far. I mean, he's a 275 hitter last year, 263, 260, 262, 302,
Yeah,
and 2021. He is not having a good
yeah.
season so far. So Reynolds is struggling for sure. Now we'll go to some pitching stats. And since you kind of guessed anyways, we'll go right to the strikeouts. Who leagues in strikeouts, Steve? Can you guess? And then we'll get that little nugget you read somewhere. Who?
I think it's somebody like did he just pitched good for the Yankees the other day? Freed. Is it Max Freed? I think it's Max Freed.
I'm sorry, Steve. You'll get our consolation prize of a used batting glove. No, it's Gore. Gore from the Nationals.
Mackenzie Gore. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
84 strikeouts. Second is Wheeler with 80 strikeouts. Crockett, is it Crockett, right? 73 for the Red
Holy
Sox.
cow, those guys are way out there. Now I'm looking. Whoa, they're way out there.
Reagan's was
I thought there
72.
I
Yeah.
thought there was more of a cluster around like in the high 60s. I didn't know there were some guys over 80. Look, Mackenzie Gore and Wheeler with 80. That's not
84 and 80,
bad.
then 73 Crockett. Reagan's, who just won the DIL, was 72. Rodon was 72. And Chris Sale was 72. And Skubal was 71. Those are the strikeout leaders. Chris Sale throwing well for the Braves.
So seven pitchers with at least 71 strikeouts,
Wow.
and they are all a K per nine of 10.4 or higher. And the best is Mackenzie Gore with a 13.4 K per nine.
Wow.
He's having a pretty good. Oh, his whip's pretty bad, but at 1.30.
Yeah,
But
his
yeah,
ERA
he's
is a little high, 3.67, but that I didn't look at his game log. That could just be a game that blew up or so. But he's having a great year for
true.
not a good team.
Yeah, no, well, they're on a four-game winning streak and they just got back to 500. But
Yep.
yeah, Mackenzie Gore at 84 Ks with a 13.4 K per nine. He's dealing.
Let's see who is leading the league in wins pitching wise. Brown from the Houston Astros is tied with Fried of the Yankees, Lopez of the Nationals, Mize with the Tigers, Thought with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Ray from the Giants. All have 6 wins to lead the league.
Dang.
Yeah, then we have like 10 people with 5 wins, so we won't go into that. But 6 wins, I mean, not that high. Nobody really on pace for 20. Those 6 winners are maybe on pace
Oh,
for 20.
yeah, those people are probably right on pace for 20.
Right on pace. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with 6 wins. Obviously, someone
But
could reel
none of,
off a bunch of wins, but
I mean, I don't see any. Robbie Ray, Max Fried, Jorge Lopez, Casey Mize, Hunter Brown. Oh, not Jorge Lopez. Sorry, he's a relief pitcher if you're not counting him. Hunter Brown, Brandon Fod. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not betting on any of those. Freed. I guess I'll bet on Freed to get to 20.
yeah, and that's a great observation. And I love that you brought that out. Lopez is relief pitcher. I mean, you love when a relief pitcher has 6 wins. I mean, we talked about it before. There's always that one guy that in Major League Baseball, a relief pitcher, who's among the league in wins, and he's just getting them out of the bullpen. So that's always kind of an interesting thing to look at. And then
But
on the other flip of the coin, yeah, what was that we can say?
but he's got a 6.86
Yeah,
ERA and a 1.38 WHIP.
right. He's got
So
six
he's
wins.
just
So he's just coming in the game, giving up the lead, and then they take the lead.
yeah,
That's basically.
basically. Or he comes into a game, they're up by four. Now he
He
gives
he
up
gives
three
up
runs.
3, right? And then but he gets the yeah, whatever reason.
Yeah.
Interesting. Then on the other flip side of the coin of the losses, we got 3 guys with 7. We got Morton from the Orioles, Nola from the Phillies, and Senzatella from the Rockies, all with 7 losses already, which is on pace for over 20 losses.
Good. Yeah. No, that's not good. That's not something you see every day. I mean, I remember there was that one year where the Tigers had some young guys that they were just letting take their lumps because they were also like physical workhorses. I forget, like
Yeah.
maybe Jeremy Bonderman might have been one of them, but they had a couple, and they had like two guys with like 18 losses, and oh, oh yeah, that's rough.
That's devastating. That's bad for the back of the baseball card. And just to let you know, Morton, he's got 12 games, but only 6 starts. So did he lose his first 6 starts? And that's what I don't know. But Nola and Sensatella are both starters, and Nola, as I mentioned before, just went to the IL. So some interesting things going on in Major League Baseball. I love baseball, Steve. I could talk about it all day. And real quick, I'm about to get off, but Evaldi for the Rangers has a 0.77 whip
0.77 whip as a starter.
as a starter. Ryan for
Just
the Twins,
yeah.
who I traded in fantasy, 0.79 whip. Brown from the Astros, 0.83. Wu from the Mariners, 0.87. Wheeler from the Phillies, 0.89. They are all under
Wow.
0.9 whip. That's impressive. They're all starters. Very impressive.
Before we go, one last thing of that note, similar. I noticed yesterday that the Mariners closer, Andre Munoz, his ERA is zero.
What?
It's 0.00. He
What?
hasn't had given up a run yet.
Are you
I
serious? Is that what
know.
you brought up earlier that you noticed? Wow.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, we're 30% of the way through. He's one of the best closers in the game. I think he's got like 12 saves already or something like that.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you
And
exactly what's
hold on.
going on. He's pitched 20 games. He's got 14 saves and 16 save opportunities. In 20.1 innings, he's got 27 Ks. The league is batting 106 off of him. He has yet to give up a
And
run, like you said.
yeah, how about that? That's pretty fucking
Oh,
good, right?
he has yet to give up an earned run. He has given up 2 runs, but yeah, yet to give up an earned run. That's impressive. That's a good little find. That's a great way to end the MLB portion of Fantasy Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one.